Hello everybody, welcome back. Today's block is called Paradox. So for that you're going to need all of these beautiful fabrics. I'll go over them real quick. A, you're going to need 2 that are 6 by 6. B, you're going to need 4 that are 3.5 by 3.5. C, you're going to need 2 that are 3.5 by 3.5. And 1 that is 6.25 by 6.25. D, you're also going to need, 2 that are 3.5 by 3.5 and 2 that are 6 by 6. E, you need 1 that is 6.25 by 6.25, and F is 5.5 by 5.5. So to start off with, we're going to make our corner squares of this. And to do that, you're going to need, we're going to move this out of the way because I need this space, obviously. So I'm just going to move it just like that. And we're going to take our B piece, our small C piece, and our small D piece, and also A. Now I've already done 2 of them, 2 sets. I've already cut that one also. So that's why you only see half of what you're going to need. Because, well, I did. So we're going to take all these and we're going to stack them up on top of each other. You can do this separate if you're not comfortable doing it this way. Me, I'm doing it this way. So I'm going to line this up corner to corner. And that'll also line up my diagonal line here on that straight edge. That's how I'll know if it's right, because that edge won't line up. Also, I can just do it like that. I'll see it. But we're going to utilize the whole ruler today. Also, you're going to take my white and pink pieces are going to be half square triangles. But I'm going to cut it anyway because, well, we're just going to try it this way today. But you could absolutely just make the line down the middle or 2 on either side of it, like I've done in other videos. So now you're going to have double what I have here. You're going to have 8 of this piece and 4 of each of the others. So we're going to turn these into half square triangles. So we're just going to line it up there. I'll do it better when I get to the machine. And right there. We're going to go over and just sew those straight down. And our other one. Again, you'll be doing this 4 times. See that? There's my bobbin thread. I just made it. So we're going to cut this off. Head over to here. We're going to iron these open and trim them down. I'm going to set that to the side because I need my little one to trim them down. I mean, I could use that one, but I'm going to use the little one. So you could have just left those together, drawn the line in the middle, or I like to draw 2 on each side, or 2 on each side, 1 on each side of it from the middle, 1/4 inch. But I also like to follow the patterns when they're in these books. I like to follow it, you know, the best I can. That way, maybe I'll learn something new that I like. So we're going to trim these down to 3, where's my notes? 3 inches. So we're going to line this diagonal line here, right there on the middle, on our sewn line. And we're going to leave edge over on the bottom and the top, and we're going to get as close to this edge as we can with still leaving some, with still some to trim off. I mean, yeah, leaving some there to be trimmed off. And then we'll flip it around, and we're going to do the same thing with our diagonal line. And now we're going to line up our 3 point down here and these 2 lines. And if you line up 2 of those, it should automatically line up the other 2 if you've done it correctly. Now we'll do it again. I don't like that glare on that ruler from my light. We're going to line up the diagonal, making sure it's past the 3 on either side here, because you want to be able to flip it around and cut it off there also. So I stand a little ways back from this when I'm filming, and I think that might be why, because when I'm not filming, that rotary cutter works just fine. So now we're gonna do the same thing again. Line up our 3-inch point at the bottom, the diagonal line, and our 3s on both sides. All right. See, I can't get good leverage from back here, I think. These will go into my scraps. Now we're going to take this, and our white piece is our inside piece. So we're going to line these up. Silly girl. Like this. So this is the one we cut in half, and so if you were to fold this back like this, it makes your square again. So you'd lay it down like that and then just slide it over. So I'm just going to take these pieces here and do that first. I'm just going to sew right down the side there, and then we'll come back and iron it open and sew the other side. Oh, let me pause it. I'm going to fix that real quick. Okay. Put another bobbin in. And we'll do the other one. We'll iron them open and do the next one. I'm going to iron them to the side of that blue piece. And now we're going to take it and just line it back up like that. So I'll fold it down, and I don't want to start at that end, so I am going to flip it over and start it from there, from up here. So we'll head over and sew them. Grab the other one. Let's iron these open. Again, just to the blue piece because, well, just because. Okay, so now I'm going to trim these before I move on. I'm going to trim it to this. I want just to be 1/4 inch from this little point right here. So I'm going to lay this out. I'm going to use this line, this diagonal line on this edge. And I'm going to move it straight with that edge down to where my 1/4 inch meets that point. And then, well, I should have used my bigger ruler. Let me grab the bigger one. Because I want to have a straight line and I don't want to have to move it. So same thing, diagonal line. We're going to line that up. with the 1/4 inch point right there, and my diagonal line is all lined up there. Take your time lining it up, and we're just going to trim that off. We're going to do it again on this one. Now again, you'll have 4 of these, but I've already done 2. So the pattern called for it to be like 5 7/8, but you all know how I feel about fractions. I don't do them unless I have to. Oh, so that's why I rounded up and went with this. So the corner that's broken, you see it? It looks terrible. I should probably get a new one, but they're expensive and I don't want to. All right, we're going to lay this to the side. Now we're going to take this one. This is our A piece, and again, you'll have 2. We're going to cut it corner to corner. And I'm lining up this line down here. So I know it's, if my straight edge is there, then it's straight going diagonally. We're going to cut that apart. And now we're going to line these up on top of them. And I'm going to sew from the back side here because I want to sew right over that cross in my threads. We're going to pin at the end. And I'm going to put one in the beginning here also. So my green one's a little bit bigger. You can see that because again, it wanted me to cut it 5 7/8, and I don't want to. So we're going to do the other one. So I just line it up there with the points kind of in the same line. And then I'll just trim it down from there. And then we'll get the beginning one. And I am going to pin this because a lot of bias edges on this block. Now we'll head over and sew these up. And I'll go slow when I get to there because I want to try my best to get it right through the point, which I've done so far on these blocks, so I don't know how well that went wobbly on me, but it's fine. I'm going to go slow. All right, now we've got to iron this open and trim it, and then 4 of our blocks are done. Well, 5, because the middle piece is just the middle piece. Iron these to my green fabric. I didn't even check my point. That one, I love it. And I love it. It's working great. Now we're going to cut these down to 5 1/2. We're going to use this one. And we're going to line up our diagonal, just like we always do. And I'm also going to line up the 2 3/4 inch dot right here on my point, because that is my middle part. And when I do that, this line should, the 2 3/4 line should go straight across evenly on my sew line there. Sorry. All right, and then we'll spin it around. And now on this one, you can line up all those same things, but you're also going to line up the 5.5 point down here and these lines here, because this is our second side, and our second side should be all you have to trim, or the remaining of what you have to trim. So let's lay that one up there. We're going to do the same thing here. Line up our diagonal and our 2 3/4 point. And I'm just trimming off just barely any on this side. You can see it's, well, I don't know if you can see it or not. It's just strings, really, which will be the same on this side, hopefully. So we're going to line up the 5.5, the 2 3/4, and the diagonal all the way. And it does line up the 2 3/4 line there. And we'll line those up again, just strings, really. So now you'll have 4 of this, and I already have my other 2. Oh, sorry about that. I was using it as a bookmark. So you'll have 4 of these. That part's done. Now we're going to move on to our second piece. These are our corners, and our middle, of course, is done. That is this piece, our F piece. So now we're going to use D, C, and E. And we're going to start with C and E. And we're going to turn, let's see what we're going to do. We're going to trim these into 4. So we're going to cut them twice, corner to corner. So we're just going to lay this down from this corner down to this corner. Now I could use that line again. So as long as this is straight, it is corner to corner. And we're gonna cut it. We're gonna just turn it a little nicely. We're gonna do the same thing, lining up this line down here. I realize I might have been off screen on the last one. Sorry about that. That's the 45-degree angle. If you line that up and cut it, they should all come apart nicely. So now we're going to take these, and I'm going to have to lay them out as I do this. The white piece will be on the top, so let's pile them up. We're going to put the white piece here, or whatever color you choose. Pile these up while I'm going. And then this piece is going to be on this side, all the way around. So we're just going to sew down through here, all of them. And I'm just going to fold it over and pull it from my sewing machine. So we're going to line up this first one, and then we're going to go over there, and we're just going to do them all. So let's head on over. Pull them from over there. And flip it over. This white one is very difficult to, it is designed. I actually don't know if there's a right side or a wrong side, but I'm trying to keep it all the same. So this block's going to be 15 inches, which would make a very nice quilt with big blocks, maybe a pillow. But I personally am going to make it a table topper, because while these are kind of fall fabrics, I also like the flowers in that middle one and that pink. It's very springy, so it's really going to be on my table all spring into the summer. Wasting a lot there. All right, let's go sew these open. That's not the right word. Iron these open. I got it. All right, we're going to cut them apart, iron them open, and move on. And I'm going to lay these over here to the side. Well, actually, we're going to lay them off of here before I burn myself. I really like these fabrics. I might make a quilt. I do have the whole line, the fat quarter bundle of it. It's Bountiful Blooms by Sherry and Chelsea Fermoda. I don't know if I'm saying those all in the right order. If I'm not, I'm sorry. I don't mean to offend anybody. All right, so we're not going to do anything with these yet. We're not trimming them or anything. We're going to take our remaining fabric. This is D, and it is our, what size is this? 6 1/4. 6 1/4. And we're going to cut these just straight in half, diagonally. Just one time. And now we're going to make quarter square triangles, I believe is what this is called. They're all going to be the same, so we're just going to fold it over. And again, I'm not going to pin all these. I'm just going to pull them from the sewing machine. I'm going to line them up a little. Pull them from... Actually, I am going to pin these because this is a bias and I don't want to ruin it. Alright, we're just going to pin them all. I apologize if this isn't something you want to see. Just skip forward a few seconds. I won't be mad. I won't even know. Alright. Let me know if you have a request on a block or even one I've already done in a different size. So I do post on my members page. I post the sizes of all these blocks. I say them in the videos, but I do type it up and post it with a picture in on my members only page. If it's something you're interested in, it's just a small fee each month. I do it for like these. I don't do it for the murder mystery one that I'm doing, or just the mystery one from Cotton Cuts. I won't do it for those because that is a paid program, and again, I'm not trying to step on anybody's toes. I'm just trying to help people. I have a friend actually who's doing it, and she doesn't really sew, so I'm doing them for her, but she has the pattern, so I'm sorry if that doesn't help, but you know. So let's sew these up. Couple more. And last one. over, we'll trim these up. Whoops, I didn't mean for that to fly all the way over there. So let's get my pins out. Excuse me. Right. I'm going to iron these to the solid piece side because, you know, less bulky. I really like this fabric. I mean, I like them all. But, you know, I had trouble deciding which ones to put in this. So let me know what you think, or if you would have done something differently. If you even know the Lana fabric, I guess. She does have it up on her channel if you wanted to look. It's an older fabric. I think it's, I don't know, it might be a few lines of fabric ago for them. I'm not sure. I just happened to find it one day. So, again, trimming it to 5.5 because we need it to match the size of all our other ones. So, you're going to line up the middle piece, which is 2 3/4, the middle measurement, not piece. You're going to line that up there and your diagonal. And we're going to trim that off. It doesn't look like it's going to work for me. Let's start it from over here and see what it gets me. Yep, that's what I want to do. Same thing, I lined up the 2 3/4 and the diagonal. I didn't want to cut that yet because it didn't look right, so I just switched it around. Now we're going to do the same thing and line up our 5.5 points down, or lines down here with the point. That's one. I'm going to move right on. So you could do it this way too, if you wanted to. All I did was line up this diagonal and the point there, because as long as they're correct, it'll work. But I'm not going to do it that way. I just was showing you. Line up the point in the middle, 2 3/4, and the diagonal. I can't get a good press up there. Turn it around, same thing. Diagonal, 2 3/4, and then your 5.5 lines and point. That's 2. Diagonal and your 2 3/4 point. And same thing, and your 5.5 inch lines and point. And last one. Five and a half at the bottom, 2 3/4 in the middle, and the diagonals lined up. There is all of our pieces. Now, we got 4 of this one, 4 of this one, and 1 of the middle piece. So let's lay it out. We'll put the middle piece there. I told you these were the corners. So our green piece is the corners. Lay those out. just like that. And then we're going to put our star piece, or whatever you want to call it. The pink is going to go towards, the pink is going towards the middle block, and the white is on the outside. So in the actual pattern, this piece and this piece was the same, but I didn't want it to be a big white piece in the middle there. I wanted a design, so that's what I did. So if you're come across this book and you think, oh, that's not what she did, you're right. So there's the block. Now we're just going to sew them together, or blocks into rows. So these two, and these two. And I'm just going to pull that from the sewing machine. There is a seam to line up here on some of them, and I will just hold it. I think it'll be fine. But if you want to pin it, pin it. We're just going to sew down through. Grab the next one. The next one will have a seam too, and since it's actually at the bottom of the block when I'm sewing, I am going to put a pin in it. But if it was at the beginning, I just would not. Just going to start over. I'm going to put the first one off and grab the next one that goes to it. Also has a seam to line up with, and it's at the beginning, so I'm not going to pin it. I'm just going to lay it on there and hold it. Pretty sure I lost my point on that one. It's a sad time, but it'll be okay. And last one, and it also, it has a seam also at the end. So I'm going to put a pin in the very bottom part of it there. I know it's hard to see, I do apologize. But I don't want to walk back over there, just to show you to line up a seam. We've done that. Let's iron it and see what we've got. Let's see, we're going to iron, I guess it doesn't matter, they're all about the same. We'll iron the top and bottom one out and the middle one in. That's not lined up at all. This one is. Not really. It's okay. They're not all going to be perfect. But that one is. Look how pretty. And that one is too. Alright, and this one's going to the middle. lay it back out. Again, greens are pointing out. So if you lay it like this, it is wrong. Well, it's not wrong. It's just not the block we're making. So now we're just going to sew these two and these two. And I am going to pin this. Oh, there we go. I knew that was bumpy. We're just going to pin here. And this seam here. We're going to pin this one. And there's a seam here also. Flip this up. And I'm just going to flip this one and flip it to pin. Because I like to pin it this way. So this seam. And then the end seam. There's a lot of seams in this part, huh? And the other middle one. And the beginning. This one did go a little wonky on me, but it's okay. Nobody's going to judge it. And if they do, well, let them. I don't care. So let's sew these two up. Pretty sure it went right over my point, which is beautiful. Just what I wanted. Where did all my little pieces go? There's one. We'll flip that one open and close the other one to sew it. Ugh. You seams are bulky. Look at that. I don't know what we're going to get, but we can fix it or deal with it. Let's get our big mat back now that it's empty. And I'm going to iron these to the middle. Not bad at all, but that's just one side. There it is. I like it. Let me know what you think. See, doesn't it kind of look like spring? Let me know if I'm wrong on that. I think it looks like spring because of these right here and this. And tulips. I love tulips, but also had I used this color, it would have just as easily been fall. So maybe I'll just make it reversible. Like do another one and reverse it. But anyways, there it is. Again, it's called Paradox. Let me know what you think. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. I hope you make it and love it. And I will see y'all next time. Have a great day.